Hey guys, my name is Ali and I am a data and analytics consultant. In this video, we're talking about something that's sometimes quite overlooked when choosing a data platform, and that is how to make sure your platform supports and suits your business goals. We're going to walk through a practical approach for translating strategic objectives into technical requirements, and also how to avoid common mistakes like over-engineering, strong tool focus, or siloed decisions. Connecting business goals to the right data platform, something that's very important for companies who are starting out their investment in a data platform, so that you get the value that you want, and it doesn't become a big project which doesn't take too long before it delivers some sort of value. So if we just start with a bit of an overview, business alignment beats the latest tech. And what I mean by that is that you can use older technology, but if it's really aligned with what you're going to use it for and the business and the goals, that will be better than having the newest, fanciest tech stack. And it's important to think about data as an enabler and not as a goal. The goal is not to get a lot of data. The goal is to use data to enable some sort of decisions and business value. And then how do we go from strategy to technical requirements? What are the strategic goals, and how do we turn that into technical requirements, which we need to make sure that the data platform covers and can support. So this is just a bit of a quick overview, some thoughts I want you to think about and keep in mind as we go through this. So if we start with the first topic is, why does it matter to have a business-driven approach? And I think it's a bit of self-explanatory, because you want to make sure that you're driving with business and not technology. But a good thing to start with is just to ask yourself, what do we want to achieve? What is it that we're trying to solve? If it's with Power BI, Tableau, artificial intelligence, prediction models, whatever it is, you need to understand what is it that we want to achieve. And this is to avoid collecting data without any purpose. And that's something that I think a lot of companies can end up starting to do, is that they collect data, not really sure why we are collecting it. And it's because they don't really know what it is that they want to achieve with the data. And this also ensures that when you're introducing features, you're introducing changes, that it's driven by some sort of measurable value. Because if you know what it is that you want to achieve, hopefully you also know how to measure if you're getting closer to that. And if you are then collecting data to support that, then you should also make sure that the features and the changes you do are supported by the measurable business value that you're trying to create. So it creates a stronger alignment between the data and what you're collecting, what you want to do with it, and what you're trying to achieve if you have this type of mindset. And then the last point I've written is that it promotes cross-functional ownership. And that is because if you're leading with business, then you need more parts of the business to be involved and part of the discussion. Because if you only have a tech department or an IT department that are doing this, then it's only one department that really needs to be involved. But if it's the business-driven approach, then there's a lot more cross-functional ownership, because it might be a customer service department which has some ownership, or a retail or sales or marketing or whoever it is. There's more of a shared ownership if it's a bit more business-driven. So what are some characteristics of a successful data platform? Now, as I mentioned, you know what the clear business purpose is defined upfront before you invest in the platform, or before it becomes a platform at all. There's a link between the capabilities in the platform and the return on investment that you're looking for, and different initiatives or features or projects that are going to deliver an ROI. And this needs to be linked to the capabilities that the platform can support, and to be able to get that back out. Collective ownership. Collective sponsorship by IT and business leaders. It's both technical and business leaders who are both engaged and involved in this. You have been able to use the platform and prioritize what it must have or what is nice to have. This is both on the needs but also on the platform side, so this goes across both. But it's important to prioritize must have over nice to have. And you also have a platform which has flexibility to evolve with changing needs. As the company learns more about data, they understand more what is possible and what they want to do, then the platform needs to have a flexibility so that it can evolve and change and grow, scale, whatever that entails. So these are some characteristics of a successful platform which has managed to touch on different points. If we then take a look at, how do we take goals and make it into technical requirements? And this is a topic which we can talk about quite a bit, but if we think about it, from a high level, you need to break down each goal into use cases. So for one company, it is to increase the monthly recurring revenue or monthly average recurring revenue. They have some customers coming in and they have some customers leaving. So customers come in, they bring more revenue, customers leave, the revenue goes out. So a goal could be to attain or have a certain monthly recurring revenue, and to be able to do that, you want to reduce churn, because if less people churn, you'll have more people, paying you, and that's something that could be a goal from a strategic goal and a little bit further down. Then you need to understand, if we want to reduce churn, which data sources and analytics patterns do we need to understand to be able to support that. So there's going to be some data points which has data which is related to identifying if someone might churn. And then there are some analytical patterns which indicates that this is going to happen. So let's say a customer hasn't used a solution for a very long time. They've logged the number of customer service tickets. Maybe they have reduced the number of licenses, etc., etc. Then you have data sources and you have some analytical patterns you need to understand to understand how and if they are going to churn. And to be able to support that, then there could be different platform capabilities that you need to have to be able to support the integration with the data sources and enabling the analytical patterns that you need to be able to identify if someone might churn. So storage to store the data, integrations to get data, real-time versus batch processing. Do you need quick feedback or not? Advanced analytics in terms of predictions, segmentation, etc., etc. So these are some thoughts on how you can translate goals into technical requirements, and you need to start higher and go further down and get more specific as you get down. So here you have a evaluation checklist of a data platform and some things that are good to think about within different topics. So you have scalability. You need to make sure that the platform can grow with data and use cases. Flexibility and integration. Does it support multi-cloud or on-premise? Rich APIs integrations are possible. De facto, SQL databases, different things that falls under multi-cloud or on-premise. Reliability, certain SLA, fault tolerance. You can provide data consistently. Cost efficiency, total cost of ownership versus the expected business impact that you will get from getting this platform. Self-service and usability, which, will you be able to empower non-technical users through the platform? Governance and security, access control, metadata, lineage, also important. Performance and analytics, such as streaming, AI support, maybe more de facto, BI reporting. It can be a different thing. These are just some topics that are good to think about when you are thinking about the platform in terms of business use cases, but also as a platform itself. Which is important to evaluate and kind of go through and understand. Some common pitfalls: buying the tech without defined business problems. We touched on that a little bit earlier. Lack of a holistic strategy, and what I mean by that is that someone that owns a strategy, which then also thinks about data silos, or if there is shadow IT, and how do you kind of get this together. Like, you need something which is larger than only maybe the tech department's platform, but something that stretches beyond to see if there are shadow IT or shadow reporting happening in different departments, which will happen, but you want to try and isolate and consolidate it. Number 3, over-engineering before maturity. It means just going all in on a platform, a lot of capabilities, a lot of things you can do before you're really ready for it as a company. You're mature enough as a company, so be aware of that. Data quality and governance, ignoring that early on. Very important to try and tackle data quality and governance from the get-go. Set the standards, set the routines, so that it grows with the team, and also over time the expectation towards the business also grows, that there is some expectation of data quality and governance in the platform and how we use data in the company. And then underestimating change management and adoption. Quite common. It takes time to get used to these kind of tools. It takes time for people to learn it. It takes time to train. It takes time to get it part of the business processes. Start early, put it on the agenda, and make sure that people understand that this is very important. So here are some common pitfalls. Read through, try and think about how it might affect your company or you know, wherever you are in your data journey. These are things you need to think about. Some examples in the transportation industry, a bus company or a train company, they need some real-time routing to understand where is a bus at a specific time or where is a train. And this is why a platform will need some sort of streaming support. Streaming is very important then because you need the data quick and when it happens. Within the banking industry, compliance requires strong governance. You know, sensitive data, financial data, very important that there's a strong governance who can access what, in what context. Retail, you want to reach some customers, so maybe you want to do some personalization, and this is by being able to integrate to different customer data sources. It could be through marketing, it could be through sales, it could be through customer, customer service in terms of the customer service center. You know, if you have data on like a customer club or a customer inside club for the company, it can be some specific data there, buying patterns, lots of different things. And within insurance, sometimes you need event-driven architecture for claims. So someone puts in a claim or something else has happened and you right away, you want someone to follow up on it quickly. Then you might need some events to trigger into other systems or some automatic response from the data platform. Enterprise BI, self-service, to be able to support self-service culture with platforms like Microsoft Fabric is one example. So these are just some examples of use cases within industry or other things where different platform choices will enable or not enable depending on requirements and ambition for a company within one of those industries. Okay, so some next steps for you guys. The first thing is to list your top 3 strategic goals. See if you can write down some strategic goals in the company and just get that down. And from there, you want to map each of the strategic goals to data use cases, which means how can data support one of these strategic goals, and then what are the technical needs. It could be, you know, which data sources do we need, how are we going to use the data, and what does the platform have to be able to do to make sure that this is possible. And then it's good to start with just getting maybe sharing some data, sharing insights to be able to support better decisions. And then you can look more into streaming and more advanced things as you go, hence the flexibility of the platform is important. But when you have the strategic goals, you know the data use cases, you have an idea of the technical needs, then you can start to think about the platform that we're looking at or the platform that we have and evaluate it against that and the checklist that we looked at before to see if it checks off on different topics against what we're trying to do. And from there, you should be able to then create a pilot, which is focused on a business use case. You know that the platform will support it. The platform can grow it into more advanced capabilities in the future. And you already have an idea of which data we need, technical needs. You're starting to get a sense of what is needed, both on the data side and on the platform side to support some sort of strategic goal. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to learn more about selecting the right data platform, I've written a full article that breaks it all down from how to support the business strategy and establishing the right type of architecture. You'll find the link to that article in the description below. And if you're in the middle of choosing a data platform, modernizing your stack, or just want to discuss ideas, then feel free to reach out on either LinkedIn or email, and I'm more than happy to discuss with you guys. Like and subscribe if this video was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next video.